Hello, fellow people, and today we'll be taking a look at the Transformers, Hasbro Pulse fan stream that was out today, and you can see some ads on the Fallen and Megatron, which I will talk about later in the video. So we have stamps and IDW comics. I have no interest in the stamps, and this is actually pretty good. Anyways, so we have Hot Rod. And he looks really good. So he's a new mold instead of being a slight alteration to the last night Hot Rod, thankfully. And the thing is, he only has one gun. It's better to have one gun than none. What? It's better to have one gun than none. Anyways, so he looks virtually killless. He's not off proportioned like Point Blank. And yeah, and he's not a faux former. So anyways, so he looks pretty good. I really like the design. And here we have him. Here we have this guy holding him. And yeah, he still looks really good. Honestly, if this figure is to ever release in where I'm at, and I was to find it, I would actually just get him in a heartbeat. And the old model looks really good. Holy frick, this is actually really good. So you can see that it's a Lamborghini Centenario, but you can only see the yellow badge. Interesting. I'm not sure if they have actually gotten the license for this. I am not sure. You can also see a spoiler, and you can see how the weapon is going to be placed. Anyways, this Lamborghini is almost flawless if it weren't for that spoiler. Other than that, this is a really cool Lamborghini mode. I just love it. Anyways, then we have Crosshairs. He's kind of weird. I could say the same thing about Galvatron, but he's kind of weird. So, anyways, his robot mode is practically sacrificed for the sake of the vehicle mode. And weird. So you can see that he has a weird green, and he has two of his guns, which is a thank goodness, but it still doesn't excuse that weird green. So, yeah, I like the kibble management. It looks pretty good. Anyways, so he does look pretty decent. And yeah, I like how most of the vehicle mode just becomes the trench coat. And like how they did with the Age of Extinction and the Last Knight. But I'm just not invested in this. I already have the Last Knight figure, and that one's actually pretty decent. And this one doesn't look as great as that one. And the vehicle mode, on the other hand, actually looks pretty good. It looks really good. And yeah, it still has that weird green coloring. Probably, I'm guessing it's to the lighting. But if a reviewer gets this figure and shows that it's this green, I'm already not invested. I'm already not going to get invested in it. Then we have Ironhide. So, this is a Voyager class, yet he's the size of the Siege figure. Interesting. So, you can see that part of him looks similar to the Siege figure, and he has two guns instead of one, which is not really a thank goodness, but it's better to have two of them rather than one, because in the reviews they showed him only having one. That's probably due to the figure being stolen. Anyways, so he looks pretty good. And yeah, I've heard people saying that his head sculpt looks pretty bad, and I don't really see anything wrong with it. I'm just gonna have to see videos, or at least images on his head, to actually find out why people don't really like it. You can see some kibble, and he's mostly clear plastic. frick. I thought we learned from Earth Rising Kingdom not to use that. And a cool thing is that he doesn't have the feet as back as the back of the van. That's pretty cool. And you can see that his back also looks similar to the Siege. And yeah, the back becomes the feet. So yeah, probably this ult mode is probably way more clever than the Earthrise. And you can see that it doesn't have the gold stripe, sadly. But other than that, this is a pretty good looking van mode. And they actually give him Earth mode wheels. And the clear plastic tabs on the top are supposed to be for weapon storage, but they feel like they're supposed to be there for light bars for the Studio Series Voyager class Ratchet. Then we have the Fallen. And he looks really good. Though I'm not a fan of how the blue, it's actually because of how the animation model, the CGI model actually showed him having blue, even though it wasn't really this bright. He has his staff, but it's split in two due to him, I'm guessing, mistransformed. I'm not sure. Other than that, he looks pretty good. The head sculpt actually looks pretty good. And yeah, and I can see how this looks similar to Megatronus for some reason. And he looks pretty massive. Yeah. Anyways, so then we have this. Then we see that he has the "Give Me Your Face" gimmick. Epic. And the jet mode. I really love the jet mode. It's supposed to look like that toy, but it has some slight alterations, and it looks really good. But I can't help but notice that it looks similar to the Green Goblin glider. It just looks like that for some reason. Or at least it reminds me of it. Then we have Core Class Wheelie, which I didn't talk about, sadly. He looks pretty good, though. Yeah, I don't really have any problems with him, and the kibble there is not entirely a problem that I have. It's just something that other people have, though. He has the slingshot, from what I've heard, and from what I've heard, it actually comes packaged as a cutout, which I'm confused why they did that. Maybe I don't know. I probably won't get him, so I probably won't know if that actually is true. Then we have Core Class Laserbeak and Ratchet, who I've already talked about. As for Rumble, this looks really good. So it looks similar to the Siege mold, and yet it's a new mold. It looks pretty good. Dang it. So you can see that he comes with his two blasters, and he comes with his frick, I forgot what they were called. But that's pretty cool that they included them, since Frenzy and Rumble are pretty much well known for them. I think they were called pile drivers. I don't remember. And the cassette mode doesn't really look bad, though the head could have hidden better. Yeah. And the crotch plate the backside of the crotch plate looks weird. I hope they fix that. And then we have Point Blank, who I've already talked about. Pretty interesting, but kind of off proportioned. And the cockpit actually opens, though it doesn't really fit Titan Masters. So it's basically a cool gimmick, but you can't actually use it. And then we have Skids. No wait, this is Crankcase. So this figure is a remold of Crankcase. No wait, what? This figure is a remold of the Legacy Skids, with the only differences being his torso, his arms and head, as well as the legs, to some degree. Anyways, so his accessories is the wrist gun casted in clear plastic, and his bumper as a gun. Wait, this reminds me of Huffer's weapon. Holy frick! So I like the alt mode, and the boxer doesn't look that bad. And the robot mode actually looks pretty good. I'm no longer disappointed in it. And the alt mode still looks pretty good. Though it kind of looks off in the side view with the fact that the bumper is actually just a separate piece to become a weapon. And yeah, for a remold of Skids, this actually looks like an entirely new figure. As in an entirely new mold. They even molded in a spare tire and ports on the back. That's really cool. I really hope they do this most of the time, because they have been doing it, but it's mostly on exclusives. And you can see that it has a factory error on the back of the head, as the hood. You can see the upside down Decepticon logo. I really love this vehicle mode though. And you can see him holding it. And yeah. And you can see that he comes with the shoulder cannons that the original toy had. Cool. As for Dead End, we've already talked about him. Interesting box art. And I really like the vehicle mode, as well as the robot mode. And yeah, he can also combine, and the combine mode looks pretty good. Now we have one to go. Anyways, moving on to the next figure, Skullgrin. I really love this figure. It looks really good. It's a pretty cool combination of his pretender shell and his inner robot. It looks really good. So you can see that if you pay attention to his legs, you can see tank treads. But if you look at his vehicle mode, you can see that his legs are over here, his tank treads are over here. We will watch this figure with great interest. Anyways, you can see he has turrets, and he's a tank. And apparently the turret actually rotates upwards, and it can do a full 360. Epic. This just makes me forgive it more. Anyways, his accessories are his swords, and they don't really look bad. And you can see that they actually gave it hand guards. Really cool. And you can see that it can also convert into a gun. Now that I'm wondering, can you actually use the guns to extend the turrets? They do seem pretty hollow, though I'm not sure if you can actually do that. So the tank mode and robot mode look pretty good on Skullgrin, and I really love the head sculpt. It looks pretty good. And the box art, it looks pretty good as well. You can see that box art, the lovely box art, and you can see the tank mode. It doesn't really look that great, but still. And then we have Inferno, or Inferno, which we've already talked about. Pretty good box art. And yeah. So, it also has some internal detailing on the abdomen section. And the flamethrower can actually be stored there, which is actually pretty cool. I wonder if I can actually rotate, but if not, I won't entirely be disappointed. And the end mode is pretty good. And then we have Starscream. I still like it, and yeah, pretty good box art. And moving on. Jet mode also looks pretty good, and holy frick, you can actually add. Holy frick, you can actually add blushes to the cannons. And then we have Megatron, and holy frick, this looks good. No, it looks really great. So you can see that the only accessory is this flame accessory, and it can be used to put on the dragon head. I don't think the club is a good idea. Other than that, this looks pretty good. Though if you display him next to Kingdom Megatron, he would probably stand out due to the way his face looks. It looks more similar to the toys instead of the cartoon, which is what the Kingdom tried to do. And then we have the Dragon mode, and this also looks really great. I really love the attention to detailing on this. This just looks really good. It could practically qualify as a masterpiece figure. Anyways, so yeah, this actually looks really good. And I love the blending in on the wings. That looks really good. And the box art also looks pretty good as well. And yeah, this actually got me more hyped, even though it was already leaked almost a month ago. Yeah, this still got me hyped. I really love these reveals. The only reveal that I wasn't really glad of is probably the Crew Class Ratchet and Laserbeak, because they have already been revealed. And I forgot about Bombburst. I forget about him. So Bombburst, he looks pretty good. He's a bat. He comes with an axe. And yeah, though he's kind of the more weaker designs of the pretenders. Because when you look at Skullgrin and Iguanus, Skullgrin looks pretty good, and Iguanus is a really great figure. And Bombburst just looks kind of weird. Also, I forgot to mention this, but he's a core class. And then we have the Jet mode, and he's something of a shell former himself. Right, this is to remind me of a Tetrajet. And you can see where the axe will store. It will store as a cannon, which that's actually pretty genius. So all of these reveals have been great, and the only ones I'm hyped for is most of the Studio Series, aside from Laserbeak and Wheelie, and all of the Legacy aside from Point Blank and Peacemaker. So yeah, this is basically it for this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.